If you are curious about the law of attraction, then stay tuned. In this video, you will learn about how Jack Canfield uses the law of attraction in his life. Hello, my name is Stephen Dobos and I am an abundance scientist and coach. If you would like to receive more videos like this, then please like and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. I've heard about you that you're really relaxed about things. And even when the situations seem hopeless, you continue to be relaxed. At the same time, you're really successful. Now, that for many people seems to be a conundrum. Can you share a little bit about how you keep going so relaxed?
Yeah, the woman that was my secretary 30 years ago and now is the president of my company, she tells a story about how we literally didn't have enough money to buy toner for our duplicating machine, our Xerox machine in the office, and how she was freaked out and I was calm. And it's kind of a quintessential historical story in our company. And I always knew that everything worked out. It just always did. And I always tell people, if you're here, it means you've survived everything that ever happened to you. And I think one of the benefits of age is you realize that you've survived lots of stuff. I've survived divorces. I've survived people that, wrote themselves a check for $20,000 when they were working for me as my accountant and disappeared, and we still never found out where they were. I've survived people embezzling money from me, lawsuits, when we were doing Chicken Soup for the Soul, where people thought we'd plagiarized stuff. We hadn't, but nevertheless, we had to defend ourselves. So it's just like you get to a point where you realize, hey, it's no big deal. And I've always lived from I don't know where I heard it, but the quote was that the universe is always working for you, not against you. Nothing's happening to you, it's happening for you. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, I just took that on and said, okay, what's the opportunity that this is? That every challenge, every negative event this was Napoleon Hill who said this, it contains within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. So when COVID came along, basically, I have 12 employees, many of them have young children. And all of a sudden, all of our work, which was live seminars, in rooms with 300 to 500 people, canceled, can't do them, illegal, can't gather. And so we had about $800,000 in deposits we would have had to return. We pivoted and created all these online courses and basically was able to keep most people in that. Some people wanted their money back. And within a couple of months, we were doing very, very well. And what the benefit in the seed of an equal or greater benefit in that seemingly, challenging event was that we realized we actually have more people coming to our seminars now because they come by Zoom. The last seminar we did, we had 42 countries represented. 42 people would not have gotten on planes and flown to Los Angeles to do our live seminar. So we're reaching more people. Our overhead is way down. Our gross revenues are down, but our net profit is up because all our expenses are down. We're not paying for 12 staff to fly to a city to, for 3 days to do a training and hotel rooms and meals for everybody and so forth. So that's just one example, but I mean, there are literally thousands. And I remember another quote from Abraham Lincoln I heard probably 20 years ago. He said, I've lived a long life and had many troubles, most of which never happened, which meant he was worrying about them happening, but they didn't happen. And so worrying is visualizing outcomes we don't want. And as I'm sure you teach as well, that the reality is what we visualize and expect, we tend to create. And if we can visualize what the outcomes we want, which we would call, some people call it positive worrying. It's like, worrying is like using your most creative power to create the thing you don't want. And, most people don't realize that. But once you understand it and you start saying, okay, I don't want that. What do I want? What's the opposite? That's what I do want. Now let's use all the tools that you teach and I teach and other people teach. Affirmations, visualizations, clarity of purpose and goals, going into deeper states to access our subconscious mind to help facilitate that and get rid of the limiting beliefs and so forth. That's really what it's all about. Chicken Soup for the Soul was rejected by 144 publishers. And that could have seemed like, and that was over about a 14-month period. So I could have gotten depressed, but I never did. I thought, okay, the right publisher isn't there yet. In fact, I published a quote in Chicken Soup for the Writer's Soul from a woman whose name I'm forgetting right now. Anyway, she wrote the Poisonwood Bible. It's a great novel. And she said, when you get that rejection letter back, don't think of it as your book's no good. Think of it as a message that says, the editor who will love your book does not live at this address. And so, that's just 144 rejections, but 145th one said yes. That's turned into 500 million Chicken Soup for the Soup books sold. That's 500 million books. So I think one of the things I've learned about the law of attraction that most people don't understand, it's a nuance, is that when you're impatient, it means you're focusing on the not having of it. Like you order something from Amazon, it didn't come, and now you're impatient. Where is it? But you're focusing on the not isness of it, as opposed to, oh, it's on its way. And I always tell everybody, whatever you want, if you have the belief that that person, that thing is on the way, it's coming and it's right timing, then it will. But if you're impatient, if you're focused on, my soulmate hasn't shown up yet, I'm going to end up a spinster or whatever, that's probably going to help that happen, as opposed to, they're on their way and they're coming. And, for someone as good as me, they have to be great, and it takes find someone great, So that's kind of how it is for me, how I stay. And I would say the other thing is I meditate. I don't meditate every day. I wish I did. But probably 4 days out of the week, I meditate for anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. And that helps keep me calm.
Keeps you calm? That's what you're doing the meditation for primarily?
Well, I meditate for a number of reasons. I meditate for clarity. So I often get answers to questions when I meditate. I can go in and say, should I or shouldn't I do this? Just the other day, I did a meditation on what's the next step I need to take in my company to grow it. And the answer I got was love. So I just focus more on love. If you look at love and joy and gratitude are the three highest vibrations as far as I can understand. So if I stay in that vibration of unconditional love, joy, meaning do the things I love, follow my joy. If I'm doing something I'm not joyful, I take that as feedback from my system, from the universe, which I'm part of, is I'm off course. Like those Dobbs dots on the side of the road, you're going off the course, And so that's one reason I meditate. Another reason I meditate is for creativity. So for example, with Chicken Soup for the Soul, we did not have a title. And so we were supposed to go to New York to sell the book. And our agent, who agreed to agent it, said, you got to have a title. So, okay, we said all these great stories. So Mark, my co-author, and I, we agreed we'd meditate for an hour a day for the next week and ask God, universe, source, whatever you want to, however you refer to it, as for a title. And on Wednesday of that week, I remember this big green chalkboard appeared, big hand came out and wrote Chicken Soup on it. And I thought, and I kind of said to the voice, assuming it was God, who knows, but I said, this book's not I said, why Chicken Soup? It doesn't make any sense. And the voice said, well, when you were sick as a child, your grandmother gave you chicken soup. And I said, well, but this is not a book about sick people. And the voice said, people's spirits are sick. This was right when the first Gulf War was happening, and it was a big recession, and a lot of people were downsizing their companies, people were out of work, and we were out of work because I was mostly working in schools, and school budgets had dried up. And then I said, Chicken Soup. He said, this is for their spirit, and I said, Chicken Soup for the spirit. And that didn't resonate. And then I thought Chicken Soup for the soul, and I got goosebumps. And then I told my wife, she got goosebumps, told Mark, he got goosebumps. New York, 21 publishers, nobody got goosebumps. It took 144 people before we got goosebumps. But that publisher was small. And this is about patience. That publisher was a small publisher, and we were the big deal to them. So they only published 6 books that season. We were one of them. If you publish with HarperCollins, you're about 60 to 100 books. You don't get the attention. So it was really a benefit to us. And so creativity, inner guidance, the Transformational Leadership Council, which I started, came from inner guidance. I was thinking I wanted to put together a gathering of people that do this work.
Mhm.
And I invited 30 people to my home to see if we wanted to start an association. And we did. And then we're going to have our first meeting in Colorado. And Janet Atwood, who wrote The Passion Test, called me up and said, Rhonda Byrne is this movie producer from Australia. She's making a movie called The Secret. She would like to come and interview everybody there because most of the people there are people that know about the law of attraction. And I said, no, it'll just be a big distraction. It'll be a big ego thing. Everyone will want to do it and it'll take people out of the meeting.
Mhm.
And that night I was meditating before I went to bed, and I got this big voice in my head says, tell Rhonda yes, so I did. And as a result of that, I'm in The Secret. Most of my friends are in The Secret. And I've probably made several $1 million because of The Secret in terms of invitations I got. I got to speak in Iran. If it hadn't been for The Secret, I never would have invited. I had 800 people show up in Iran. They'd showed The Secret on television, which I would have said, shoot me dead before I would have believed the Ayatollah would have let that happen, but he did. And so that's another reason. Then relaxation. And finally, I would say, I think I've had moments of bliss where I really feel connected to cosmos, connected to God, connected to spirit. So those are all different reasons I meditate.
Thank you. That's a very important one. And when you meditate, do you typically do it in the morning or the evening? What's your preferred?
I do both. I have this thing called the Hour of Power I do, which is 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of reading and uplifting reading, and that's called the Hour of Power. So I do that, as I said, about 4 to 5 days a week. And then in the evening, I always do a very brief meditation before I go to bed, because I've learned that if I can get myself into that still space, my sleep's much better. My dreams are more powerful. I get more REM sleep, which is when the dreams happen. Because there was a long time I wasn't getting much REM sleep. And that's where a lot of the psychological things resolve themselves and creativity happens and you get downloads and things like that. So, yeah.
If you would like to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel below. Once again, my name is Steven Dobos, and you can download a free centering exercise. The information is in the description box below.